All right, that's going. And five, four, three, two, one.
It works? Oh, there it goes.
What's up, everybody? It is I, the host slash owner slash founder of the Ryan Cross. I have a lot of titles, and I don't know what they mean. So I am, as always, your host, Travis Ryan Schaefer, and I have with me today a very special guest. You can tell by the title of this vid down in the description, or the title, whatever. Calvin T. Shepard, who is actually working on a very awesome project, which we will get to towards the end of this. But right now, this is our writer's room, which means, and I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself in a
No worries.
second. Sorry. It's the good thing about Twitch, and I can edit the thing. It's live, so no one cares. It's very comic historian, which is great.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, so cutting that out. What's up, everybody? It is. I am your host, Travis Ryan Schaefer of the Ryan Cross Project, and I have with me a very special guest, which you can tell by the title of this episode. I have with me Calvin T. Shepard, who is the writer, and director of a very awesome project I got to talk to him about and we'll get to that in a little bit after our writer's room proper. So, what is the writer's room? Basically, me most of the time, and a guest will come on and we'll talk about an idea that we've had kind of off the thing. Like, I'll just pitch an idea, and which this is funny. I'll tell this story in a minute, but we'll go on there. We'll go ahead and we'll just talk about the idea and kind of expand on it and just kind of make it an actual like feasible thing we could do. So, like I said, Calvin, sup, buddy?
How's it going, man? I'm glad to be here. Glad to be in the writers' room. I'm excited. I like doing this stuff. I like going over and writing stuff. So, and coming up with stories. So it should be fun to do it with you.
Oh yes, yes. Especially since the only not the only reason, but one of the main reasons I liked it to have, especially you on this, was because of the conversation we had that lasted till literally 5:30 in the morning EST. I was like,
Yep.
this dude, I have to
Yeah.
have this dude on my show.
Yeah. I came on and did a jack of all trivia match with my partner Caleb Furr. We won against you.
Yeah, yeah, you did. Yeah,
And
yeah, you
then
did.
then afterwards, I was like, "Hey, you guys want to see this thing that I have now released?" And then we just started talking about comics, Batman, movies, all types of stuff. And
And it
and
just
then,
and it just became a rabbit hole of just awesome.
like, yep, yep, it was very quickly a rabbit hole of awesome. And for me, it wasn't as late as it was for you because I'm over here in Colorado, but
I
it was
know.
still pretty late.
Yeah, time seems to just slow down. If you catch my drift, it's just
Oh
we'll
yeah.
we'll just put that over there and just let it be. But yeah. So the idea we're gonna be working on today is one called, and I've just kind of labeled it this blank slate, which I literally had
Yeah.
which I literally had this idea while I was working a couple days or almost a couple days ago or so. And it came up because I just keep forgetting things that are the most basic thing, and it comes back to me like 2 seconds later. Because I'm working as a cashier at a grocery store, and I'm like, okay, like a red bell pepper is the code for that when you bring it up to the cashier is 4088 or whatever, right? I forget most things like that. And I'm like, what is the code for this? And then it comes to me, and I'm like, what if this wasn't just in a once a time thing? Like a guy went to sleep knowing everything about himself, and then woke up, it was gone. it,
Everything was gone. Yeah, he just forgot his whole world.
his
Yeah,
aspect,
it was.
every aspect of his life is just poof, gone,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah,
the
and
fun thing of this. Good.
yeah, and I thought this would be a fun thing to do. We kind of start with a blank slate and go at it and see what we can find up with.
Right. So
So,
in creating this story, we have the basic synopsis, but I want to see if we can figure out what the trigger for it would be. And I had a funny thought as I was chowing down before we started here, because it's about 5:30, almost 5:40 in the evening, and I'm like, I need dinner. So So I was like, what if it came from something he ate, but what he ate included an alien parasite that made its way to his brainstem and just took all of his memory?
That could work. I mean, that's an alien parasite from a fruit.
No, no, not from a
I
fruit,
mean,
just like a random vendor that's just been there for ages, and this has been happening to a lot of people. It's just kind of
oh wow.
never been spoken of because everyone forgot.
Everyone forgot. Well, how did I guess? Well, definitely the first part we would need to do is introduce this guy
Yeah,
before that happened, and then we would know everything about him. And I've thought about this a lot. You sent me kind of a list of things. You'd forget all of his relationships, things like that.
past lives.
But I mean,
But then I started thinking about it. It's like I want to roll back a couple of things,
right.
especially that last bit is
Uh-huh.
just kind of instinctive, shall we say? If you catch my drift on
Right.
which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So let's,
Yeah. Well, I figured we'd get to that way down the road on this.
yeah,
So, because I don't know about you. I would see this as a dramatic comedy in a way. I
yeah,
mean, I don't know if because there would be definitely be a lot of
oh yeah,
some really funny things, but it could also be very dramatic. Like I
yeah.
had a thought. It's just like realizing you have kids. Like if this guy
Oh
had
god.
kids, and then just like
Wait, wait, wait,
I don't know you.
wait. So this guy, let's set this guy's backstory a bit. He started a job about a month ago,
Okay.
and he's already been late like enough times to get fired. Like one more time, and he's done. So what'll happen is he'll wake up this day, forget he has to go to work in like an hour for when he
Oh
wakes
man.
up. He gets a phone call. He doesn't know who it is, and they're like, "Oh, very funny. Next time you come in, just turn in your like name badge or whatever." And he's just done. He goes, "Okay, bye." Clicks, hangs up, and just goes. But now, the fact you brought up kids, I'm like, what if this dude's divorced
Oh my
with
god.
two kids?
Well, what if he's divorced? Like, what if he's divorced and he's not really over it, right? He's the type of guy that's like, I'm not really over it, and he's got all these pictures still around, so he thinks he's still married
Oh,
when he wakes up.
nice.
Well, I must be married to this person.
Wait,
Turns out, no, he's divorced.
that is beautiful. But it brings up the question that I've always had an issue with as far as amnesia stuff. If someone loses all their memory, how do they know how to talk? Because that's learned.
Yeah, so that's definitely an interesting thing. It's like it's got to come down to like things that you like. We don't think about talking at this point, right? We don't
Right.
like at a point of our lives. We don't think about it. It's not really a memory as much as it's just natural. So like,
Cognitive, yeah. But it's
does
a
he does
cognitive
he remember?
but it's a cognitive wipe though. So it's like basically starting
Right.
with, for lack of a better term, a baby's almost mentality.
So does he wake up crying for his mom in the morning? Well, because that is even the other question. Is
Yeah.
like, do you even remember your mom? Because
Right.
your mom is like one of the things that's like.
Yeah.
Somebody said something about my mom on Facebook last night, and I saw red, man. I went off the chain. But like you just like that's the thing about your mom, right? Is there's
Yeah.
just something? It's something you have that connection no matter what. I mean,
Yeah.
they talk about like that's like the first thing you think about when you're that inch away from dying is you
Right.
go back to your mother. So like if a guy has a complete cognitive wipe, would that be the first thing he looks for when he wakes up, or would that be completely gone as well? See, we've kind of put ourselves in a corner where we have
Right.
a lot of questions to find out here.
There's a lot of questions I don't think either of us are, knowledgeable enough to answer.
Well, it's our world. We can
Oh yeah,
make the rules
we can definitely
as we
do that,
please.
but we're gonna have a lot of people going, "That's not how that works." We're gonna have a lot of people going, "That's not how the Force works." I'm like, I don't care. I don't care.
Well, somebody should tell a lot of the filmmakers that. I'm not gonna say anything because if there's ever a chance I'll get a job with any of them,
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
want them
yeah.
to think.
It's like, you see, I would hire you, but this thing
But
from
But
like,
you said this about my Star Wars film that I had just come out. But I'm not gonna say anything. I hate that one.
We can definitely get to that at another time. But let's shift focus back onto our not our show, but our idea. But yeah,
Yeah, but
that's really
it it gets into the point of like how far back is this memory going to be wiped? You know, if it's a complete cognitive wipe, then you're going to wake up with a guy who doesn't even know how to use the toilet, and then we end up with more problems. Then
yeah.
you know,
That's what I'm
because
saying. Like that at this point should be instinctive, but it's like if
right,
that's instinctive, but talking is not. Well, where's that fine line, which is a very hard thing to cross.
right. So,
So,
um,
for all intents and purposes, let's just say normal human functioning is left. He can still talk, but
mhm.
everything not since birth, but it's like we need to decide the time frame here. How long is long term memory?
Right.
So,
Um,
man, I would say,
I just keep thinking about Wolverine all of a sudden, like trying to figure out where
I
he's
mean,
would.
yeah, because here's the thing. And it's even funnier that you say this because even, and I don't know if you watch film theory or game theory or any of that, but
Mhm.
MatPat even actually went back. If you go back to How to Kill Deadpool, is basically if you like memories aren't something that are what's it called like aren't a part of your brain, so to speak. They're relays within synapses, and when you
Okay.
reset those synapses, everything's gone. Like there is no connection to it. It's just fried. Like it's basically a motherboard you had to replace, and everything. No, like a hard drive that got fried and you replaced it is basically what happens. There's nothing
Okay.
on it. There's the base operating system, which is human functions such as heart, lungs, and
Uh-huh.
everything south. um, but beyond that, it's just there. So leaving if we're leaving in if we're leaving in the English language, which would be really fun if he couldn't talk, but just kind of mumbled or grumbled or like brr, brr,
Right.
just kind of shrugged.
Yeah.
If he just grunts, that'd be great. Wait, if he's grunting, if this turns into a movie, I want to cast Tim Allen. That would be great.
You know. Whoops.
Just a whole movie of grunts. Oh Lord. Uh,
Oh man,
but yeah,
it could work too.
it would be great. It's like, yeah, anyway, we're
We're
straying.
way ahead of ourselves.
We really are. But getting back to the story though, so yeah, so this whole thing's going on. Um, getting back to it. So okay, so let's see. We were
Well, there's also the theory about memory. Sorry, I just
no,
thought
go
about
ahead.
this. There's also a theory about memories that well, I don't know if it's a theory or I don't really pay attention to the scientific aspect, but I read about this was like that memories don't actually exist. That we just kind of we recreate them every time we think about them. Um, so like if you remember I don't know, like your first day of school in college, right? You're gonna technically when you go there to that memory, you recreate the entire thing. Now you remember it, so you usually recreate it pretty close, but like there's certain aspects of it that'll never be the same because you don't remember that specific part.
Right.
It's like it's an interesting thing of like where you build it. You have to rebuild the memory every single time.
Hmm.
I don't know how that applies to this. I just had that thought of like how it could apply to this of having to rebuild those memories. As somebody he would have to rebuild them completely anyways. Um, but this is different because he would have no
Yeah.
access to that moment
It
or any of those moments.
it is a very deep topic, which we are very uneducated on. It's like we're going off
Right.
of like two different theories. When one, mine being a YouTube film theory,
Mhm.
whatever, and then the
Yeah.
other being in probably actual scientific theory. And I'm just like, ah,
Yeah. This was oh, I can't remember where it was. I do remember that I read it somewhere. I might have been talking with therapists, but and then I also read it in relation to Batman too,
mm,
because it was in relation to he probably doesn't actually remember exactly how his parents were killed.
mm,
Um,
just that they
so
were. That makes
right,
sense.
like, and that he recreates that moment, but it would
That
never
that makes sense.
like, and that he
hit this.
recreates that
Yeah.
moment, but it would never hit. Sorry, I'm
No, no.
hearing myself now.
Yeah, that was my fault. Sorry.
No worries.
I'm trying to I'm trying to subtly do stuff on Twitch so I can like post it on Facebook so I can be like, "Hey, we're doing this now. Go watch." But now
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, sweet.
I
I
should
can share that too.
yeah, I should have muted this first and I didn't. So sorry. Continue. I'm sorry.
No worries. No, you're good. I was just remembering saying those things. So, so, man, memories is such a hard one to do, man.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
But
Okay, so I'm gonna close that now. All right. Again, continue. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. I don't know what to say next, honestly. So,
Okay, so getting back to our main guy's thing. Okay, so he has memory. He has complete total memory loss, basically amnesia, or in this case, we'll just call it movie amnesia, where he can still speak English. just for
right,
just draw that line in the sand. Like movie
movie
amnesia,
amnesia.
right? So that begs the question. That begs two questions. One, how long has he been divorced? And two, how old are his kids?
Ooh.
Because those are two very important questions.
No, yeah, it is. Depending on how long he's been divorced will depend on, cause like, imagine this, he thinks he's married to her. Turns out she's married to somebody else already.
That's the whole point. Because
Yeah.
we could spin this to a yeah, and I know we're getting far away from my sci-fi led. It's an alien parasite got to his brainstem. I was just spitballing. It's an idea I had like five
Well,
minutes ago.
well, I mean, it still could be that issue. I mean, like,
Yeah,
first of all, he's not gonna remember what it was. So
exactly.
only the audience is.
Right.
Um, but then that begs the question of, is there a way to reverse it? Would you want to reverse it?
Oh, that's a good
Uh,
question.
uh,
Also think about
because like,
also think about what happens if he does fix it, and then he still retains the memories from when he didn't have amnesia, from when he had amnesia.
yeah,
So that's a whole
because that
like that because that can turn into its own like uh, I don't want to say identity crisis. That's about the only thing I can think of.
will break the brain for damn sure.
Exactly. It's like how
Yeah,
is this? It's like
psychotic break for sure.
yeah. Are we looking at another origin story? I was about to make a Joker joke, but I forgot. I fucked that up
An
so.
origin Joker, yeah, I mean, it would break somebody enough to. Well, and, I mean, obviously, he has no. His past would be multiple choice. He would prefer it to be multiple choice. So once he found out what his past was, then
Right.
he preferred. Well, now I prefer it to be multiple choice. Never mind. I didn't want this back in the first place. But
Yeah.
yeah, but the alien parasite thing it could still play a role. It's just a matter of like with that being the sci-fi element of it, like
What are the
how
larger?
often.
Yeah, I was about to say what are the larger ramifications on not just us as a species? Like, would we interglued our own Men in Black almost? Like, what are the
Right,
what's the larger ramifications on the universe?
right. Not only that, what are the larger ramifications of the universe, and not how often do we return? Because like, if this is going to be a sci-fi element, there's a sci-fi element at the beginning. Are we going to return to that multiple times, or we just leave it? That is a possibility too. You could just
or
leave it alone.
or is this like a secret invasion from Marvel towards like everyone? It suddenly becomes an undercover alien, so to speak, because that parasite could be the alien thing, and I'm going way over here.
I'm thinking Unity. I don't know if you've gotten that far because you said you hadn't watched all of Rick and Morty yet.
Oh no,
Um,
I literally started from like episode one. I
okay.
started.
Um,
I stopped at like
do you
episode
know what
four of
do you
season
know
one.
what Unity is? Have you got there yet?
I'm at season one, episode four. I'm after their Christmas
Okay.
episode.
I don't remember. Uh,
Let's just
where?
say I don't, just for argument's
Okay.
sake. You just explain it to
Um,
me.
no worries. So Unity is Rick's ex-girlfriend, or
Oh.
Rick's ex relationship. Because I don't know if you could technically call Unity a girlfriend. Even it's a hive mind
Oh.
of an entire planet.
Oh.
So,
So we're talking like a
and
glowing hive mind type situation here. Okay.
yeah, and he dates the mind. So in which case he dates pretty much an entire planet.
Oh, that's great.
um.
And that also sounds very on product on what's it called for Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, and
On
it's
brand is what I was thinking of.
trying to think of trying to find like the episode lists here. Trying to figure out like where you would be, how far you are from getting there, because that one is
Probably
pretty
pretty far.
crazy.
Yeah, probably pretty far. Like I said, I mean, like season 1, episode 4, thanks to HBO Max. That's literally the
HBO Max has it.
that's literally the only reason I'm watching it is because of that.
Anime Park. Something wicked this way comes. I can't remember even what it's called, but
No worries about it.
uh,
When I get to it, like probably a couple months or two later, like,
right.
I'll just
But
I'll just randomly message you on Facebook. Got to Unity. What?
continuity. Yeah, no, and
Second message. What the fuck?
season 2, episode 3. So
Ah,
you got a ways to go.
yeah.
Yeah. But when you say that it's that would be the alien invasion. I mean, that's where my head instantly thought to is like they're wiping these people's brains so that way they could all become one
Okay.
mind. Um, which is not at all where we need to go. I just when I thought about it, it was definitely what it. That would be insane.
It's either that or it just becomes them, and I'm like, or not sorry, not them. They live. It's just you can't tell the humans from the aliens.
I love They Live. I love Carpenter. Which that's a John Carpenter movie.
Yeah, I know, which is oh.
Oh.
You had to bring that up. You had to bring that up.
For those of you listening who don't know, he got a question wrong, which was who directed Halloween in our last trivia match. If you don't remember, the answer is John Carpenter. He also directed a movie called They Live.
He also directed The Thing and a bunch of other things I don't know. So,
Yep.
I don't know. Anyway.
Escape from New York.
Okay, don't push it.
Escape from New York is great though. I feel like that's not even a horror. That would be up your alley. I feel like you would like that one. It's like
it's one of those I've never seen.
it's like if Mad Max had Kurt Russell in Arkham City.
Okay. Now
and the president crashed into Arkham City, but Arkham City is actually New York. But they keep all the prisoners, just let them run free in there. So
that
it's great.
Has actually piqued my interest. Now I have to go find this movie.
It's fantastic, man. Arkham City is definitely like Escape from New York in a way. That's like what the premise of Arkham City is. So
yeah, but let's get back on track.
Way back. Yeah,
okay.
Off the rails.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
We're like,
we can have tangents as long as we bring it back to where we were.
Yeah.
Which is always funny because if you ask anyone else, I'm usually the one causing the tangents, which is really funny. So it's odd to see it from this end, from this side.
No worries.
But yeah, getting back to the story. So, let's say how. Okay, first off, what's our guy look like? Like, what's our character? We'll start with the basics. Like, what's our character? Like, what's his name, age, whatever.
Okay, so his name.
I'm thinking Chuck.
Chuck. All right, I can go with Chuck.
The only reason that I thought of Chuck was because this is basically the opposite of the actual show Chuck, where he knows everything. If you if you remember that, which I was like, that could be funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So Chuck is Chuck has no memories of everything. Perfect. I wrote down Chuck. So I get. I like the idea that it's Tim Allen. So that's not what it looked like.
I mean, but if it's Tim Allen, this guy's got to be way older. This dude's a grandpa.
Right, I guess that's fair.
Yeah, which makes it really hard to do. Um, uh,
Well, because then it's just
unless,
amnesia, or not
unless,
amnesia.
yeah, then it's just Alzheimer's, and
Yeah, that's where I was going.
that's sad.
That's a sad movie.
So what if instead we actually got Chuck from Chuck, Zachary Levi, and did it that way?
Okay,
Because that works.
all right. I could go with that. For sure.
Which is
Um,
great. Okay.
yeah, Zachary Levi, perfect.
Yeah.
So he's the exact opposite
Yeah.
of what he was.
Which is hilarious. Let's
All
see.
right,
So yes, we got that.
which
So basically, he's a 40 something, 30, 40 something white
yeah,
male.
30, 40 something. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, white male. Who works at a grocery store, or is that what you said?
No,
Or
I came up with this when I was working at a grocery
as
store.
at the grocery store?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. So what would he do? Um, oh, well, let's give him a really good job, then take it away the next day. uh,
Okay.
um, I'm not gonna say bank teller. That's not good enough. Not head of a corporation. They never work anyway.
A lawyer.
Yes, he works. He's like, he's basically the newest. What's it called? Newest. Oh, what's the word? He's basically the new hire of the thing.
The law firm.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
not
I
even.
really want to see the first court case after he loses all his memories.
Oh my God. It's like liar, liar, but he can't tell if they're lying or not. It's,
Yeah, he should be looking over his notes the whole time, and they'd be like, "Sir, did you even study for this?" And like, I don't know. I don't know where I'm at. Oh, maybe instinctually he just starts trying to put the guy in jail, and he's the defense spoiler. He's like, "Yeah,
yes!
this guy's terrible. We should just put this guy in jail."
That's
Whoa,
no, no,
slow
no, no.
down.
That's what gets him fired. He's a defense lawyer that
Yeah,
puts two of his his defendees or defendants in jail
yeah.
by total
They should
accident.
be like they should be like super rich clients that are like trying to get off on
Yes,
something, and
yes.
like he's like, God, man, these guys are just awful. Which
Can one of them wear too much tanner, have a blonde wig, and wear a blue suit and red tie?
I mean, if you want them to,
Okay, good.
little on the button, but yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
um, no, but absolutely, I think that it should be these people who are bringing in lots of money to
Mm,
the law firm, and they're
mm,
like,
yeah,
yeah, these, and we get these guys off, we're
yeah.
gonna get paid, and then we should set that up at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Like we should set that up right away at the beginning. It's like, don't be late tomorrow. Make sure you're ready to go and
On.
get these guys off. This is your one
It's like
job,
no, no,
man. I
no, no.
swear to
It's
God.
like it's like you do this, you make partner. You do this, you're gone. You don't do this, you're gone.
Oh,
That's the
you
stakes.
you're
Yes.
gone. Yeah, and then
Yes. Oh, I
of
love this.
course, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Um,
but wait, then if
um.
that's the case,
So
if that's the case, we need to give this guy a last name because it can't be blank blank and Chuck.
um.
Let's see.
Well, okay. So first of all, I think his name should be Charles, and then like his dumb name should be Chuck.
That works.
Like when he loses his mind, um, what his last name should be?
Do we want to make
Should
it a
be
lit?
kind of
Do we want to make it a litter of like Matt Murdock, or do we want to? Because I can think of a really.
um.
Because I was.
Arlie has joined the chat.
Okay.
Dog, quit barking. Knock it off. Come here. I don't even know where you're at. Knock it off.
That's great.
um.
Yeah, we can circle back to that later. It's fine.
Right. Yeah.
This is great. So yeah,
You
so oh, here we go. Here's how this can get set up. The alien parasite or whatever the fuck. Basically, they go out to eat like just to kind of like as a almost as a game plan dinner almost. They go out to eat to like I don't want to say a specific restaurant or a specific type, but it sounds like I mean, what would fit these guys would be for some reason Thai food comes to mind. I'm not sure why, but I think it'll work.
So I just had a thought when you said that, because like it's the lawyers going out to dinner, that whole thing, that could take the story in a complete and total different direction. I'm gonna say it. We do not have to go that way.
Okay.
But imagine, like, for lack of a better word, a ragtag group of rebels that are against the different type of people that are super corrupt and running these things, and they purposely give him amnesia
Oh, so
in
it's
order to
so instead of
get make sure.
so instead of, sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. So instead of it being like an alien parasite, it's literally like this it's almost serum that they put in like his drink or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that is perfect.
Because that would destroy, like, because they
Oh
want to
yeah.
destroy this court case, right? They want to
Yes.
make sure that
The guy goes to
these
jail.
people for
Yeah.
sure get off, right?
Yeah. Oh my
And
gosh. That's so great.
or they for sure, and or you could take it from the other end, right? Where you could say, uh, like instead of he's trying to get off these super rich people, he could be the prosecutor, and then those would be the people that ruin it for him as well. So then you take it down. You can go either way
Oh
on
yeah.
that end, you know. um,
What if we have the best of both, and instead of the because I love this. So instead of it being like a band of rebels or whatever, what if
yeah,
it's someone in his own firm that's after his spot and wants him gone,
after his job.
yes, and will work the appeal case and get his place as partner.
That's so smart. Yeah, that's a good way to take it. Yeah.
I
Um,
love because I
then you have a villain too.
yes, because I liked both of your ideas. But I'm like, I want to make sure this guy starts swarmy, like slime, like just ugh,
Yeah.
bad guy, and then
Mhm.
gets this like face turn and just work. It'll just like through this whole thing and just kind of comes to terms with, okay, I saw that those guys were assholes and those guys were bad, and then this is what's actually happening. So I'm changing my mind. Screw you guys. We're going home. We're gonna do this other thing, and then starts
Right.
his own law
Yeah.
firm at the end just for free. I don't know.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, so another thing, um, because I just had this thought, and I want to kind of go off of it, but this is like another thing that we probably don't know much about. So fun going back into those things. Um, but there's a good chance that like I don't know how, like if he was defending them and he gets up and he's like, oh no, these guys have done this and this thing. They don't deserve to be like the way I see it, like, and he doesn't really know what he's talking about because of
Right.
course he's
Yeah, he's
there's a chance
amnesiac.
he gets disbarred because
Oh.
the attorney-client privilege. I don't
Oh
know.
no. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I don't know how that works, but I'm pretty sure that's a possibility.
Oh. Ooh, that's good. Then he has to find another way of work.
Yeah,
And it's fun to be
which I
and
I imagine him being a personal trainer after that. I don't know why, um,
it
but that's just where my mind went to like right away. But
if we want someone who can like realistically play a personal trainer, let's just cast this as Chris Evans. Just be like,
Well,
just
I don't think Zachary Levi would be that bad at it either. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know how much padding was in that Shazam suit, but
Probably all of it.
it looked like all padding.
Yeah. But
But he
yeah,
also looked big. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
he did, but I mean, there was probably some augmentation to it, but but whatever.
yeah. I mean, yeah, because like all three of those. I mean, between him, Batman, Superman, and that, they're just cut like their actual body shapes.
Oh
It's like,
yeah, which is so
huh,
not fair for the
interesting.
rest of us.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, So,
Not what we're doing. So.
right. Okay. So we'll leave that, kind of ambiguous or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and kind of like what happens after the thing. Like we'll leave the disbarred thing for another time. Let's just say for now he gets fired from the firm. We'll leave it at that for now. And then if we find out a little bit more about it, we can come back to that idea later.
Mhm.
Okay. So they go out for Thai food. Um, do we want it to be one of the people who's already part, like who started the firm that doesn't want him in, or is it someone who's like lower than him, like the other guy that they would have went with?
He's got to be lower. He's
Okay.
got to be lower, and he's got to almost be not like at all considered prior. Like he's
Oh.
got to be somebody who's like, I gotta like, I'm gonna take this spot. I'm
Okay.
gonna do anything to do it. Yeah, because like
So he's not.
if it's somebody that's above him or equal with him, well, I mean, it may be equal could work, like where
Yeah.
he's equal, but he's not the one that's up for the option. But if he's above him in any way, then there's like no real motivation for him to do this.
Hmm.
Um, I don't feel. I mean, there could be if we really stretch it.
I
Like, I
mean,
don't want this guy to work here.
I mean, the thread that goes in my mind is that the guy who's basically dumping the serum, like we said earlier, is basically
Uh-huh.
realizing that's like, yeah, you could be partner, you get
Right.
this, a slice of my earnings.
Hmm.
Huh. Yeah, you need to go.
Yeah.
Basically your maniacal laugh kind of guy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It could go. It could go that way for sure. Maniacal laugh.
Maniacal
Maniacal laugh.
laugh. Sorry, friggin' Muppets popped in my head for like a split second. I don't know why, but it worked.
No worries.
Um,
Um.
but yeah, we could definitely try that. But okay, let's say it's someone below, like lower than him on the stands. Like he's not the number two, he's
Mhm.
like the number five, and he's like nowhere near in line for the ascension, shall we say?
Mhm.
Like he's been there for 3 or 4 years longer than our, I guess, protagonist,
Right.
and he's just like, dude, the fuck? I've been here almost 10 years, and I haven't gotten an offer to be partner once. The fuck?
No, that yeah, and then you that would definitely be a strong motivation to do it. And
Dude's been
um,
working here what? A month? The fuck?
I think it, I think it could be interesting too because you could make him kind of because like when you get a villain that's like fully evil intentions, like down to the core, you
Hmm.
don't have much there unless you go, you do it just right,
Yeah.
Joker. But there's like you could kind of make him a little bit. Oh, this was supposed to, temporarily impair your memory for a night, and then it does it forever. Like he
Oh.
accidentally does it to him.
It's like a drop. Okay, so basically, you want to do the Army of Darkness version of this, where it's like the alternate ending for the movie was he was supposed to take 3 drops. He would sleep for 3 centuries. He miscounts at 3, and so he takes an extra drop, which makes it 4. So he slept for 400 years. He wakes up, no, I slept too
Right.
long.
Exactly, and that's what makes our villains quite interesting, in my opinion. Is if that meant to he meant to just kind of impair him for a moment, and then he impairs him for the rest of his life.
Mm.
And oh God, man, that'd be so.
So it's like, okay, oh my gosh, then how do we like frame that? So it's like, okay, half the do we want to go half the bottle impairs him for like a month, and then the full bottle impairs him for like the rest of like his life, or do you want to do it
Yeah.
like a drop, and then he's like, he panics, and he's like, oh shit, someone's coming. Oh shit.
Oh shit. Wait, and it's got to be quick too, because it's
Yeah.
got to be like, oh shit, and then he's like, oh, I guess I'm gonna leave it there, because that's
No, no,
not
no.
how it would go. It'd be like,
Even
huh? And then go, yeah, and just as soon as he does it,
no,
oh shit.
no, no. Even better, he's making him coffee the night, like that. Not coffee, but it's like he's making him a drink like that night, like at his like. No, no, no. Instead of going out for like Thai food or something, they all go to someone's place for drinks, basically.
Right.
So they're drinking like scotch or whatever the fuck.
Mhm.
So let's call this guy Edgar because that sounds villainous enough. So Edgar goes like, you know what, Chuck, let me make you a drink. He goes, please. First off, name's Charles. Second, sure. We gotta make this guy a real smarmy
Oh,
douchebag at the
you cut
beginning.
out there for a second.
Okay, so where did I cut off at? Because I was basically saying like, first off, it's
You
Charles.
said Charles.
Yeah. Second off,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's fine. It's like, sure. If we want to make this guy a real swarmy douchebag at the beginning of this, so he goes over and makes a drink. He's like, then Edgar's like making the drink or whatever. Pours his, and he's about to like he puts down the bottle to like make it look like he's getting ice. But he goes into his jacket, pulls the vial. Someone walks up behind him, accidentally bumps him, and like pours the whole thing, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine." Just puts the vial back in his thing. He goes, "To tomorrow's success." He goes, "Yes," but they don't. No, no, they don't swash like do it hard enough towards like somebody has to get into Edgar's. They just do a click, like a very gentlemanly clink, and just go about their drinks.
Oh man.
Oh man, that's great.
Oh no. And then so then well see and we when we texted when we were texting about this very script we said you asked if it should be a movie
Series.
or a series and I thought you know because this is such a concept that should go on for a long time
Yeah,
type thing. I think that it should be a series.
yeah,
Well, in order to do so, you will need to have other characters, and I think it would be very interesting to follow the guy who made him forget his
entire
memories.
life. Yeah.
Right? I think it would be interesting to follow him because we first of all
Oh,
he's got to live with that mistake, and
what if?
yeah.
What if? That comes to a point where he has to defend. Edgar has to defend friggin' oh fuck, Chuck, and it's just like really,
Oh man,
it's like I get the pity case, but in reality, he's like, oh shit, um,
I
fuck,
Oh, he's the Fenderman. He's the problem in the
yeah,
first place. He's got to find a way to get
right,
away with it.
because
That's definitely
the way
a
I
whole plot line
yeah,
for a long time.
because the way I see it, what we could do is we could have someone. No, not someone. This could be his appeal case, but the only thing is, to appeal his case, he can't defend himself, so someone else in the firm has to represent him. That's when they choose Edgar for it, because he's been there long enough, and he's had enough time in the pool, shall we say, or in the bullpen, shall we say. So that's where Edgar's like, yeah, sure, whatever. To people, so it's like, yeah, sure, I got no problem, pff, whatever, it's no big deal.
Right.
And everyone leaves the room. He's like, "Oh shit,
Oh no no no
fuck."
no 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 no. Yeah
So
yeah exactly.
he hires his crooked um, PI to go and like investigate for someone else to do it. Like say, oh, here we go. What if it's the he pins it on the ex-wife's new husband? And it's like he wanted him out
Oh
of the
shit.
it's like and they frame it as he wanted him out of the picture, so instead of it not killing him, it just made him lose his memory. There you go. And then they could just and then they could
Oh.
have the evidence of the vial, but not realize that fingerprints last for a while, and then at the end of the series or episode or season, whatever, we have someone take a closer look at it and be like, these fingerprints don't match, and then it becomes a whole new season of, you know, everything just
Whose
kind of
fingerprints are they?
right,
Right. And the whole time like Edgar would be like, I gotta just keep my hands closed for a year.
right.
I can't let people see what my hands are.
No, then he starts
I
wearing
mean,
like
obviously that wouldn't be
no,
it, but
then he starts wearing like fucking white material gloves like all the time because he's like, oh, I just figured it completes the suit, and he just starts wearing them all the time.
just don't want anybody to test my fingerprints. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not, but I just gotta be careful.
Yeah, so it's like,
Oh,
which could,
okay. So like his
but
finger.
Right.
his fingerprints would not be in the system if he had never committed a crime.
Right.
So you could
Oh
get
man.
something interesting right there. I mean, like just seeing an episode where he finally gets arrested and he gets pulled in, and there's just like a fingerprint scanner there, and he's just like looking at it, and they're like, "Put your hand on there." He's like,
Yes.
"Oh, dang
Perfect.
it!" oh, oh man, that would be hilarious.
That would be
Oh,
great. Oh my gosh. Oh man. But now I've got like all these different ideas for friggin' Edgar's backstory now, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
ooh,
yeah, yeah. That's what happens.
we could definitely
That's what
spin this
happens.
out for a couple of seasons. It'd be great.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, like just like we've taken the simple concept of somebody getting their mind wiped to it basically
Oof.
being like a whole like conspiracy thing, and like
Oh, it's
all
so
we've
great.
taken it in multiple different directions from sci-fi to
Yeah,
now conspiracy
but
to
but I'm happy we didn't go the sci-fi route because that
yeah.
has a short shelf life. There we are.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the sci-fi thing happens, and it's like where like it doesn't come back up again. Like
No.
there's not many ways to make it come back up again unless you've seen the Unity episode. but
Yeah. Or you've read a Marvel
I
comic book.
yeah, exactly. And then and this is definitely a little bit more real life. We do have to still talk about the wife and kids.
Oh yeah,
Right?
we haven't gotten that far yet, have we? No.
I know we haven't.
Sheesh. Okay, okay. So, all right. um, let's see. Ex-wife's name. Okay, so let's start with the ex-wife's name. Just to kind of get a bare bones, like, so we can know what to name her, and just stop calling her the ex-wife, because that sounds really mean. Uh,
She's the ex-wife, like Sam Rockwell's gun in Iron Man 2. Do you
oh.
remember that? The ex-wife.
It wasn't a gun. It was like a small torpedo
yeah.
that was a dud.
Uh, yeah.
And for the longest time, I thought it was called the bitch ex-wife.
Nope, she's called the ex-wife. I
I don't know.
I loved his character.
Oh
I
yeah,
wish he had more.
yeah,
Sorry. Back on track.
yeah. No worries, no worries. I'm thinking I'm
Um,
between two names, either Sandra or Natalie for some reason.
I'm going with Natalie.
All right,
I like Natalie.
Natalie works. All right,
Natalie.
Natalie. All right. Let's see the kids' names. I would say because we have to have it be one of each, obviously. So do you want the
Right.
oldest to be
Yeah.
the son or the daughter?
Son. Son should be the
All
oldest,
right, son.
especially because I think a really interesting there's a father-son relationship, right? Especially
Obviously.
with an oldest. And they could have like an amazing relationship, like best friends into like because that's the type of relationship I have with my dad, where he was just like so like imagine that, and then imagine your dad doesn't remember you,
Oh, oh,
right?
oh
And
my gosh.
I mean, I'm thinking, because like obviously show plot lines need to go in multiple different ways. You got to go with down different characters. This could be a kid who is picked on in school, isn't really athletic. Maybe he has something that he does with his dad every week. Go to the
Yeah,
movies,
yeah.
something like that. And then his dad doesn't even remember who he is. And then
Oh
from the
no.
daughter's point of view, you could do the exact opposite, where his dad's always kind of likes his son a little more,
Yeah.
and now it's not much different,
Right.
like and then you have a trail between the son and the daughter. You have a son and a daughter, um, where um, you have a son and a daughter who I find their relationship through that,
Yeah.
because the son could be like really upset, like, God, why dad doesn't even like hardly do anything that he used to do with me anymore. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, no, don't complain about that because that's the way my whole life's been. You
Exactly.
know, so
No, no, it's like
so then
I'd love for her to just be like this real snide, sarcastic. Yeah, welcome to the fucking club, douchebag.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Perfect.
Which that could work for making her older too.
Oh yeah.
So that actually that would work better to make her older
Okay,
on
so
that end.
okay. Okay. So son's name, I'm thinking for some reason the first name popped in my head was Ben.
Okay, Ben works. Ben works for me.
Okay, Ben. Daughter's name. Let's see. Daughter Ben.
Sydney.
That's actually my stepsister's name. Yeah, that works.
Oh, okay. We'll stay away from it.
Let's see. Let's see.
Um,
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. How about Marie? Because that just seems like a name.
okay.
Yeah, Marie. There we go.
Marie works. All right. So we got Natalie, Ben, and Marie.
Yep.
So we have to figure out first what was Natalie and Charlie, Charles. What was their relationship like prior
Right.
to, and then from there, what
What led
was
to?
their relationship?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What happened? What led to? Um, which I had a thought. Um,
Okay. Give me 1 second, because I gotta find a way to plug in my laptop because my thing's dying. And I gotta go get the charger and
okay.
plug it in. Give me like 2 seconds.
No worries. Oh man. Get it?
Okay, let's see here. And perfect. Okay, good. Wait, why isn't it? Okay, there it is. Okay, we're good. We're good now. Sorry.
Cool. I had a thought is that he could have like a secret mistress that he
But
doesn't
that's
remember
that. Oh, that's even
his
funnier.
wife, and
That's even funnier.
right, and then like she like because he has like no record of her or anything like that. She's not that she just shows up, like
Oh shit! Yeah,
just like expecting him to remember her.
yeah. And she can be like, "Oh, that's very funny." It's like, no, I
Of course, he
literally have
doesn't.
no idea who you are. It's like I don't even know how you have a key to my house. This is my house, right? But I would love for her to talk him out of the things he owns, like his house. It's like, oh no, I've been letting you live in my house forever, and like she just slyly starts taking things from him without him because he doesn't remember.
When she realizes what happened, she's like, "Oh, okay,
Right.
yeah, oh, that's perfect."
But then it all comes.
That would be perfect, and
But then it all comes back on her when the kids
yeah,
show up. She's like, shit. She knows the game. This is like
not
a this is like a 3 or 4 episode arc where it's just like the kid show up's like, yeah, Dad, this is your house. This is I don't know why she said it was
well,
her.
they could just show up at the house like, because I mean, as a kid of divorced parents, my mom would just drop us off at the house. I mean, yeah, she would make sure like that he answered the door, but just imagine this, right? She drops the kids off at the house. Maybe they're a little older,
Yeah.
just so that way you can make this kind of go by. And they just show up and they're like, she knock on the door or go in the house, and she's just the only one there because she's convinced him that this is not his house, right?
Oh.
And they will show up and they'll she knows like they could like call the cops or something. She's like, oh yeah, your dad's coming back. Yeah,
He's on a
he's coming
business.
back real soon.
Yeah,
It's just like the whole time they spend and
Yeah, he's on a
maybe
business trip.
a whole episode where they spend a weekend with this woman and he never shows back up.
Oh, that's awful. That
It's
is
just
so
when they leave, like,
awful.
phew, oh, that's so close.
Oh, that's awful. That's
It could be
great. Yeah.
interesting doing something like that. It's so bad. We could make. I mean, like with this, obviously with her, with him, especially prior to removing his memory, and the people that he's trying to get off, and the guy who and Edgar who poisoned him, or not poisoned him, but drugged him. Like we could make some truly despicable characters.
Oh shoot.
Like straight up horrible characters. You good? You're cutting in and out now.
Yeah, I know. No, my internet was acting wonky for a second. I just had a thought. What if the mistress and Edgar are in on it? Like, what if the mistress is in on it with Edgar? And this wasn't a long-term plan, but he came to her first. And he's like, listen, here's what I'm going to do. I want to make sure he's gone.
Let's
So he... Oh, shit.
go. You were to
Fuck me. This
say, if you were to say,
this sucks.
can do on that in
Okay. We good? Because I kept... Shit. Well, this sucks.
Alright,
This...
you're back now.
Yeah,
Kind of blurry, but back.
yeah, this
You're
is...
back.
Yeah.
Unless you can't hear me.
No, I can hear you, but everything's static, almost.
Now you're gone.
Great.
Again. Shit.
Yeah. So, shit, we can continue this off stream because I don't think it's going to be working much better because my internet sucks. Unless you can see and hear me.
No worries, yeah.
Let's see. How's the Twitch feed going? It's like it's weird. It says we have one person watching. I'm like, yeah, this is great.
You're kind of cutting in and out,
Perfect.
going back and forth.
Yep. So I'm just.
And now you're completely gone.
Yep. That's what I figured. So I'm going to cut this here. If any of you can hear me. So we will come back to this later. Ending broadcast. Fuck. Fuck. Alright, so that didn't last long. Fuck. Internet shit. Yep, and we're still going here on the OBS, so I guess I'll be pausing this for now, and hopefully I can come back when everything's back. Give us a couple seconds here.
Okay, cool.
Okay, thankfully all of that
I can hear you just fine. You kind of cut out in and out
on the stream, yeah. Which was both fun and annoying, because that was just... It was fun to do, but it's just... The internet sucks for it, so I'll just have to keep doing stuff like this, which is fine. So yeah, we were talking about like
no problem.
Yeah, so where we were at, where was the? I said, what if the mistress and Edgar were in on it with you? Like the Edgar told the mistress she's trying to get rid of him, like out of the picture for this, and it's like whatever happens, because he may have given him an accident full dose. It's like okay, so I might have fucked up.
Well, and she could be,
or what if, or
she could be in on it on multiple. What's her motivation to be in on it? God, you're still cutting in and out, man.
Yeah, you are too. Shit. StreamYard sucks. Alright, so I'm gonna try something else. Alright, so I'm gonna see if
for a good portion of the time, and then all of
yeah, probably because I moved, honestly. Because I was up against the wall with like a metal frame, but then it's like I pulled out from it, it petered out.
Yeah.
So let me try and see what happens if I move it back. And now, but the only problem is now my cord is strained. Yeah, but anyway, so we're back to where we were, kind of. But yeah, so you're asking like what the mistress's things would be, like her motivations or whatever.
Her motivation, yeah, yeah. I have a couple thoughts on that. One could simply be money. I mean, lawyers usually make pretty damn good money,
Yeah.
you know. So there's one motivation there. Another could be, say she was his mistress, his girl that he was on, when he was married,
Hmm.
right? And then she expects, well, if he breaks up with his wife, he's obviously just going to go for me. But she doesn't realize, what? Hey, no, he's still interested in his wife. That's why I didn't take down any of the pictures or anything like that. You're just a mistake. And then she gets really pissed off and evil, and
Oh,
she could
that's perfect.
become, yeah, she could become the evil person, and that could be, she could be a little bit more evil than Edgar if we wanted to, or she could not be. She
Right.
could be a better person. It could go either way on there. I don't want to,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
pigeonhole her either way. It's just,
Right.
it was just a thought.
Yeah, maybe we should just leave her oblivious until the day actually happens, and she's like, "So how'd the court case go?" She goes, "How are you in my house?" It's like,
Don't you remember me? No, I don't remember shit.
no, he just stands there with this dumb look on his face, like looking from side to side, looking for some kind of clue.
Like, who are you?
It's like,
Um,
no.
so here's a question,
Mm,
especially since we're talking about, her, and we're talking about his wife as well,
yeah.
in comparison, back and forth. Uh, so
Do you want to go for the cliche that his mistress is his secretary?
no, that's God, no. I don't. I really don't.
Okay, just making
I,
sure.
but I think it would be an interesting concept to play with the idea of, even when you have a complete movie, a complete,
Movie amnesia.
uh, yeah, movie amnesia. Yeah. Is there a concept of the one? So, like, would your
Oh,
soul still be driven for the person that you're supposed to be with, despite the fact that you have no memories at all,
this
or
this is a total recall type question, and I'm thinking specifically of the Colin Farrell Total
version?
Recall. Yeah,
Yeah.
because friggin' Jessica Biel and this other hot chick, I'm like, fuck.
Well, I mean that seriously. I mean,
Yeah,
I know what you mean, but like, you gotta think of,
yeah.
like, if this is his wife, like, is he driven towards her, and is he not even driven, like, because, like, at this point he wouldn't be able to explain it, like, you wouldn't be able to go, well, we did this together, and we had this moment together, and we did this, and we had kids. I mean, he technically would be able to say we had kids, but, like, that
Yeah,
wouldn't be able to be an argument because he has no memories, right?
right,
For, like, why he would go after her.
right.
So, like, your mistress could be somebody who's very much in love with him, right? And thinks by wiping his mind
Oh shit.
that he would go for her over him
Over yeah.
anyways.
Oh shit. Okay. So let's backtrack to the Edgar thing a second ago. I want to
Uh-huh.
not make the ex-wife. I do not want to make Natalie remarried already. I want to have her be dating somebody because this could be an
Then they worked.
right. Because this
Yeah.
could be an opportune moment for him to fall back in love and be like, "What? I don't know what happened before, but
Uh-huh.
basically, have you read the Kevin Smith Green Arrow story, The Quiver, or is it Quiver?
I don't think I have,
Okay,
no.
okay. So long story short, essentially, Green Arrow comes back to life after being dead for whatever story happened, and
Uh-huh.
he's recreated back to a certain point of where he remembers up to I forget what the certain point was, but he remembers being in love with Black Canary. but he doesn't remember what happened
Mhm.
after. And so when he comes back
Oh
from
boy.
being dead, yeah, when he comes back from being dead, what happens is Black Canary, at first, she kisses him because he's back, but then she slaps him because he broke her heart. So, and
And he
that's
doesn't remember why.
exactly. And he's like, Torrance, like, all I remember are the good times. I don't know what happened back then. He's trying to explain all this away, but she's like, no.
It doesn't matter if
Right.
what you remember. This is what happened.
Right. It's like,
Reminds me of your choices were this or a tree in game, because Gamora doesn't remember Star Lord type thing,
oh, yeah.
and he's like,
It's
your
like, she's
options
like,
are this or a tree.
a tree, or a raccoon.
I love it. I just love that though. It's like out of
And I love,
everybody on that ship, you thought is like the tree or him. It's like, I mean,
it's great.
there's Drax, or I mean, I probably would go with Rocket over a tree, but whatever.
Okay.
A tree? A what? No. I was back on track, but it's
Yeah.
still like, but yeah, no, I like that idea of like she thinks that if he loses his memory, because I've actually wrote a story like that before. Now that I think about it, like it didn't cross my mind until just now. I wrote I wrote a screenplay, and it was kind of like a Black Mirror esque type of like technology future thing. And
Dope.
what it was it recreated people's. You could recreate somebody after death, resurrect them from your memory of them. And
Oh.
it's like an organic 3D printer in the story, and
I think I saw clips of that episode.
no, good. I don't hope not, because somebody's going through my old projects if that's the case. Uh,
no,
but
it,
what ends up happening is like, huh?
oh no, I was just gonna say because I remember, I remember it was friggin' Haley. It was I think it was called Black Mirror with friggin' Haley Atwell or whatever the fuck, and then I think it was Domhnall Gleeson, and it's just a bunch of other things. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about or not.
I don't. I
Eh,
don't.
I'll get into more of it off air because a lot of the stuff that I remember about the episode is not safe for work, and I'm trying to make this very safe for work. So, so we'll get to that part
I think I've
off.
dropped a think I've dropped a couple words that make it not that. But basically, what this story was about, like in that world, you in order to resurrect somebody, you have to have a certain number of signatures from the family, certain different perspectives of the person, so that way you recreate them of not just one person's memory of them.
Mm.
Basically, this guy goes to his friend that works at this company, recreates these people, and he says, "I my girlfriend's dead. I need to bring her back. Like I need to bring her back." And like he goes through the whole like half the process of bringing her back, and then the guy learns that she's not actually dead. She just left him, and he's trying to recreate his version of her so that way he can basically, so that because he
Oh,
didn't want to lose her, but it's really fucked up, like
mm.
really fucked up. But I when I
Yes.
come back to this, and I just gave it away too, so anybody who wants to steal that story can. But but like, but also we're doing this one too, so technically, but but yeah, no, that's why I went to that. It was like, what if she just wants him to forget his wife basically,
Mm.
and then come in and
Yeah,
take over,
yeah. I mean that could work,
Pence, because
but we would have to thread it in such a way that she either she was in on it, which is why she's like, oh, I could take advantage of this, but it's only for a day. That's just like, so what happens if you give it more? Well, it lasts
right,
longer. Hmm.
hmm right,
So
exactly.
it could if it's like a couple of drops or whatever, it's a blackout period of like a day or two.
hmm
But if it's the full vial, it's a new life altogether. So
Right.
that's the fine line here we're trying to go with, and we don't know how these two would know each other, how they would have met, what the history was, etc. So I was
Right.
just thinking that would just be a twist.
Complicated.
Yeah, I was just thinking of a
Yeah.
twist, probably for just the twist's sake, which is not the way you should write.
No, absolutely not.
Not
No,
a, not,
absolutely
yeah,
not. I mean, you could make that story particular on its own interesting, but then you would have to. I think it's one or the other here on this. I
yeah,
think because one could be way too much versus like if you put
yeah,
both in, you know,
which,
you're trying to cram
yeah,
too much into one story,
yeah, it's definitely hard
which
to do.
happens a lot
Yeah.
with people. So
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
Um,
So, oh, okay. So the chemical imbalance. I was trying to think of like what would happen. It's like he only saw his wife, his now ex. He only saw Natalie in pictures. What happens? Like, what's? I'm trying to think of which would have the bigger
right.
chemical reaction in his brain of seeing seeing Natalie in person for the first time, or what was in his brain that wiped his memory. Because one could partially shake out of it. It's like I remember marrying her, I don't remember not being with her, and that could cause
Right. Yeah.
unintentional friction. She's like, "Do you not remember?" Okay, so and she could think he's trying to get back with her for a third time. But in all honesty, it's like, no, he honestly doesn't remember you, but he still. You can wipe because I guess the question you were trying to ask was, if you can wipe the memories of the mind, but can you wipe the memories of the heart? It is,
right.
uh,
Or the soul.
yeah,
Like
heart
and
soul is pretty much interchangeable there.
right. Yeah. But like the idea of like well, it would do. It's fiction, right? So,
Yeah.
like for me, like certain things maybe not translate into real life, but like the idea of like the person you're destined to be with,
Mm,
right? So, like if that is a reality in this scenario,
mhm.
right? In this scenario, does that like natural written in the stars type
Connection.
drive, right, connection, does that still exist despite having none of the memories? And like so like when you say like he sees her and then suddenly he remembers the wedding or like or you said that in a, not in that simplistic of a way, but
Right.
does that okay, so that would be like literal, like okay, now I remember the wedding, I remember being with her, but I don't remember not being with her.
Right.
What if it was just more than that? What if it was just what if it was like I know that's the person for me. I know that. I don't know why I know that. It's like love at first sight on again type thing. I'm getting really cheesy. I'm not meaning to.
No, 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 no. Believe me, I get it. Because it's like when you were saying that, the first thing to pop in my head, as bad of a boyfriend he was, again, this is fictional, would be Scott Pilgrim versus the World when he first sees Ramona,
Right.
and it
Exactly. Yeah.
and it's not the scene you're thinking of where he's at the party. He's at the library, and he just
Right.
loses
Exactly.
like all sense of time and where he's at and everything else. He's just like
Based everything.
just focuses.
Well, because then you get into some really like philosophical type shit with that, where you think
Yeah,
of like whether or not that is, for example, movie example, it was like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I started to watch that. I couldn't finish it.
Okay,
I
well,
got to go back and watch it then.
it's okay. Well, that movie is about people when they break up with somebody, they choose to have their mind wiped of that person, and they're like Jim Carrey is kind of inside the memories of that person while they're being erased because he's sleeping, and so like um that's what pretty much what the whole movie's about. So like uh it makes some of the scenes like very very weird. Like
Mm.
you have to realize that's what's going on in order to get it. And I like the first time I watched it was hard for me, but like after I get through it, like oh okay, well, this is like and a lot of the filmmakers I work with are probably gonna hate me for saying that, but it took me a little bit to enjoy that movie because there's like the guy that runs camera for me. He loves that movie, and and him and his girlfriend dressed up like it for Halloween, like so
Oh.
part of it. But it's so adorable. The picture is honestly, but but like the idea of because I'm pretty sure towards the end, like they don't get back together, but they meet again, and it's like they are meeting again for the first time, and it's like this is probably all going to happen again just because of how that. But
Oh,
like,
so
but she doesn't have like she has the memories of what happened. For him, it's like meeting her for the first time. This has definitely got to be the person I'm supposed to be with.
right.
But she has all these memories. Dude, you fucked up more than one. Like, stay for work. Stay for work. But you know what I
Fine.
mean? Like,
You
you
two
know
go.
what I mean? Like, you messed up. You messed up enough,
Yeah.
right? And now and you're trying to come back now. I don't care if you don't have memories. You're just gonna do this again.
Yeah.
Like even when she tries to, like, she's probably not gonna believe him when he's like, I don't remember that. But
It's
like
like I don't
still,
remember. And it's like I would love for the fact that it's like he
yeah,
can tell her he doesn't remember. She goes, "Pff, whatever. Leaves the kids with him for the weekend. And then honestly, it's like it doesn't click until like the kids come her kid like when Ben and Marie come back from the weekend at
Marie,
their dad's,
yeah,
they're like, he honestly doesn't remember anything. And for like a week or
anything
no,
at
it's like
all.
and for like a week or two she's like, whatever, it's just he's trying to whatever.
Hmm.
But it takes a week or two for it to sink in and he goes, he honestly doesn't remember.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Now
man,
she
it just
right
got
now
deep.
she and now and now here's the thing, it's like she has the option to say, "Oh, I've been bringing the kids over, just as for because she doesn't have to tell him it was court mandated that he has visitation rights or whatever." He's like, "I was just being nice," or she could be, "This could be a new start for us. This could be a chance for this to start over, and we can correct the wrongs because now she knows she can recognize the signs of when he's, shall we say, not being faithful."
Right,
And
right.
she can be like, she can give them a little bit of time and just kind of like work on it. And I think it'd be funny that it's like if she's thinking about pursuing the relationship with him again as for the first time, or first time for him, like third or fourth for her. I would I would love for like there's like a little like 2 second thing I just thought of which would be really funny, and it would be this is great. It would be the kids, Ben and Marie probably saying, it's like, what do you think is going on in Mom's place while we're not here, while we're not there? Like, she'd probably read a book. She has a glass. She has the glass of red wine in the book, and so we get a look at the book she's reading. I don't know why this popped in my head, but I love it. It's Steve Harvey's book that got made into a movie. Think like a no, talk like a lady, but think like a man. That would be funny
Oh
for her to be
god.
reading. That would be great.
Oh god.
That would be funny. Just a quick little like
Oh man.
pan over. It's like then it just
Oh
shifts back over.
no.
Nah, come on. That would be
Man,
funny. That would be funny.
it would be funny. Yeah. I I don't know, man. See, because like, well, I think this something's interesting happened here where we've created two very interesting stories at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
because like, well, I guess it's a series, so you could explore the relationship part and the whole corrupt work partner
Right.
stuff, especially if we want to make this guy like previously a very despicable person.
Right.
Um,
And, and,
and
and I love the fact that's like throughout this. I hate to cut you off. I'm sorry. I love the fact that
no, no, you're good.
throughout this we named at least two Jim Carrey movies. The first one I thought of was Liar Liar, and the one you thought of was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Trying to spotless mind. Yeah.
That is just perfect.
You know what's funny about Liar Liar is I he has a movie that's like the exact opposite of that. I can't think of what it's called now. Um, where he has to tell the truth all the time.
That is Liar
Oh,
Liar.
that's what Liar Liar is. It's not that. It's no, it's where he says yes to everything.
Oh, yes,
Yes, man.
man. That was so good.
Yeah. Um, um, but it kind of goes in. This kind of goes into that concept. I mean, in a way, of those types of movies where um, where it's interesting because somebody said once that '90s were obsessed with the absentee. Successful businessman father, like, and it's kind of true. Like if you look at Liar Liar, if you look at
Jungle the Jungle.
um, right, even Santa Claus,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
um, there's so many of them about that, and we're kind of in that realm. I think we definitely have come up with something that could be much darker
Oh,
in a
yeah.
way as well too. Uh, yeah.
I really want. I think we could, in all actuality, just start writing this, like, just between the two of us, and just start
Mhm,
like, writing this, like, almost page by page, and just kind of, like, go dialogue and scene setup and such,
mhm.
and make this a pitch for, like,
Right.
I want to say
Yeah.
NBC, because they had
Uh,
no, I say NBC because there was a show that was on. I don't know if it was still going on before all this stuff hit, but if I remember it correctly, there was a. I think it was called Blind Spot or something, and it was a woman basically almost covered in head to toe in tattoos, but she had no memory, and it was up to her and this one cop to figure out how she got into the middle of this, like, four-way intersection. I think in a duffel bag, something along that line. Maybe I'm remembering the duffel bag for another reason. But it was something along those lines. I didn't watch the show personally, but I remember I think it being on NBC because I know it wasn't on CBS
hmm.
or ABC.
That's interesting. That's an interesting storyline too, because like the tattoos is definitely something like
Yeah,
reminds me of Memento as well. When you have no memory and you tattoos in order to remember things.
yeah.
Um, uh, yeah, and then the duffel waking up in the duffel bag reminds me of Old Boy.
Yikes.
Yeah, yikes for sure. Not the Spike Lee version, but
Yeah, but but yeah, we I feel like we could definitely do this, and we could definitely use this as, like, a writer's room, like, literally just talk about this and kind of, like, show the process of what we did to get to this point, which would be really
yeah,
fun.
absolutely, yeah.
Because again, there's no one on my channel that's gonna, like, take these ideas and take them and run with them. It's just me
Right.
talking on the internet.
Well, I mean,
I mean,
that's
I mean, they're,
that's the way to do it, man.
and then everyone can go back and be like, "Oh, I want to just, dang, it's already on TV,"
Yep,
which would be great.
yep. That happens to me too. It's like you come up with a whole idea and you work it for a little while, and then you find something that's like, damn it, this.
Right?
It's the worst feeling in the world.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so let's definitely do that. It's like, so this is just, like, basically the brainstorming thing. Okay, so say we're doing that. We're writing basically a season for this.
Mhm.
Let's start. Okay, so we started the pilot, so to speak. We started with the first, I'd say, half season of this.
Uh-huh.
So let's start with how we would go from the pilot. Like, what's the overall arc of season one? We'll start there. That way we can just start it simply. Um, because I know, like I said earlier, like, the season one finale would be someone finds the vial, or that gets brought up in the investigation, and it's like, again, the again, Natalie's new boyfriend gets sent to jail, blah blah blah, which actually puts a wrench in the relationship they're starting to build back up, because yeah, she's no longer with said dude. We'll call him
Mhm.
Bob,
Right.
and then But when she finds out that it was basically that she thinks Bob did it, and the whole thing, somehow that would throw a wrench in the relationship she's having with um, Chuck again, and then that would split them up. So it's like we have a fractured thing into season two, so we can
Mhm.
kind of midway through season two try to weave things back together the best we could with the
Mhm.
story that we got. So season one. So yeah, we got our start point, we got our end point. What happens in the middle? I mean, I would presume that the mistress gets tossed on her ass, just sent out the door like, "Yep, bye."
I imagine. I think that she's gonna be somebody in a bit of a position of power, like where, especially when, like if we're gonna do that, where she takes over the apartment or she takes over the house for a while, like that's gonna be somewhere where she's not gonna be somebody that you're gonna be able to toss out like that
Right.
easily.
She
She's
knows
gonna take
all.
care of her herself.
She knows all of his account numbers. So I would love to see also by the end of season one, not only is he homeless, he's broke. He has no money because
Hmm.
she signed everything over in his name.
Yeah.
Everything that was in his name is now in her name. All of his bank
Right.
accounts, cards, everything is just transferred over.
Hmm.
I mean, not
That would
everything.
be a good name.
I mean, not everything, but it's like she takes a good chunk of his money, leaving him broke.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, that would work. She could be. Yeah. She could be quite conniving. I can imagine.
okay, so that's where that thread would end for season one. Let's see, what else would be there? So we got Edgar, who's basically taken care of by way of he's now partner. He's got nothing to worry about.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, he's got a lot to worry about if
I
he's
mean,
gonna
yeah,
get
I
caught.
mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's like as it's like for right now, he thinks there's nothing. He has nothing to
Nothing
worry
to worry
about,
worry
right?
about. Yeah.
And he doesn't start wearing white gloves until like midway through season two when he knows someone's onto him. And
It'd
he,
be interesting to see
yeah, and he could just,
he'll pretend to be helpful.
yeah, and then,
Be like, "Oh, I'll help you figure out everything, man. Even though I'm the one who did this to you, but you have no idea, so I'm gonna help you."
exactly,
Lead you down the wrong alleyways and
right,
stuff. I don't know.
right. It's like, oh no, no, just leave it to me. I got a guy. I'll get him on it, and I'll have it take care of. It's an old
Hmm.
corrupt, and it's a corrupt. No, it is a former. It was a detective that was. Bleh. It's a corrupt. It was a cop that they found he was on the take that avoided jail time because Edgar defended him in the past. But then he even though he was able to walk, he uh, pretty much lost his badge essentially. So
Right.
he can't be a cop or detective anymore. So now he's a private eye, and he's still on the
Hmm.
take as like muscle for whatever.
Right.
So that would be fun to
Yeah.
kind of look into. Um, so he'd be introducing him. Let's see. After that, let's see. What other threads do we have to cover here? Because I'm trying to think. We got.
The kids.
Oh
We
yeah,
did the kids.
yeah. We did.
We've done a lot with them though, because we
Yeah,
did the. They go over for the weekend. We definitely. We figured out what their personalities would be like. So as he's trying to get to know them and learn about them and stuff, that would be um, where we're at with that.
yeah,
So I mean, obviously, with them, we could follow some storylines where
yeah.
where they live their lives outside of that, but in response to what has happened.
Right,
Like what did they do in response to?
right. Now that leaves the question: how? I think the question we haven't really answered with the kids is how old are they?
I would say teenagers. I'd say they're at least in high school, both of them.
I would say one of them is in like their junior year, almost senior year of high school, which would be Ben, and then
Yeah,
Marie has gone off to be in her maybe second year in college, maybe.
that works.
Yeah,
Yeah, that works really, really well. The only thing about that is there's gonna be some weird stuff of like, does she live at home? Does she live in a dorm? Like, what's
I
going on
mean,
with that?
when the story picks up, she's off for the summer. She's on
Okay,
like summer break.
okay,
So
yeah,
she's
that'd
coming
be
down.
perfect.
She's coming down to kind of do all this stuff because we don't need to really kind of
Hmm.
reveal everything about the kids right on the first episode.
Right.
So we can kind of place it in summer, keep it going, and just kind of go from there. Um, Even funnier, I just thought about this. If we're starting this in summer, say like July or something, like midway through the season, we could have a Christmas episode and be like, "Hey, what'd you get me for Christmas?" I don't know.
What's Christmas?
Oh, even better. That's even better. It's like, "What'd you get me for Christmas?" The
What'd you get me for my birthday?
what?
No, what birthday? You don't remember my birthday, Dad? You don't remember when my birthday is, Dad? Why don't you remember when my birthday is, Dad?
Oh, even better. Even better. I would love to see like either Marie or Ben or both try and pull that over on him. Just be like, what,
It's my birthday.
hey.
Oh, okay. Let's go get you some presents. It's my birthday. Oh, okay. Let's go get some presents.
But that trick only works once, and then they find out then he finds out like a few like months down the line. Like say one is like born in like August or something.
Uh huh.
They can be like, oh no, base. Oh, I don't know. Like I would say the one who's born in August, unfortunately, just because I'm biased, would be Ben because that would be
Yeah.
funny because my birthday's in August.
Is it?
And
Yeah.
yeah, and what is
When
it?
you? It must have been close.
Uh,
It's August now.
yeah, it was like 9 days ago.
Oh, well, happy birthday. Unless you're lying to me because I don't remember it.
Yeah, you're funny. You're funny. No, but seriously, it was like the third, which is fine.
Uh,
But yeah, so yeah, that'd be funny. And then the daughter is born. I would say June,
okay.
June 2nd. Let's go June 2nd for her.
Okay.
And August. Let's just say August 14th for Ben. Whatever.
Oh man, we're gonna miss it. 2 days. It's 2 days away.
I don't remember.
I don't remember your birthday.
But yeah, so it's like when they come back over, when they come back over the first time, and it's like, and we're gonna say it's a week away from Ben's birthday, which is gonna be really funny because Ben's like, "Okay, you got any birthday? Do we have plans for my birthday next week?" What? Like, what birthday? My birth. It's like my birthday. When's your birthday? Very funny, Dad. It's like, yeah, totally, yeah, whatever. And then I would
I don't even
love.
remember your middle name.
It's like, no, I would love for him to just be like walking like along the street, and it's like he's just walking by like a high school, and it's Ben's high school he walks by or drives by or whatever. He's like, "Hey, Dad!" He's like, he slows down. It's like, "You need help looking for your dad, kid?" It's like very funny. Can I get in? He's like, "I don't know you." And he just like, you better stay you better catch the bus home or else you're gonna be like late or whatever. He just takes off. He's just like,
What the hell, Dad?
exactly.
That would be pretty good.
That'd be great.
Oh man, I mean, that's how you like. I can imagine like he wakes up and he's like, he doesn't remember anything, and he gets a phone call. It's like, why aren't you at this court case you're supposed to be at? And it's like, crap. He like gets his car, starts driving there. He passes by the high school. And he's like, yeah, Dad, wait up. And you're like, whoa, who the hell are you, man? I don't even know who you are.
It's like, why are you calling me dad? I don't know you. It's like, I would love to do like one of those Spider-Man cuts where it's like, what the fuck? Cuts the case.
my uh, my college roommate Ben, he was a big fan of that movie Elf. I don't know
Oh,
why this came up, but I think about it. I think about it all the time with him because he used to say it all the time. Whenever you say bye to somebody, say bye, buddy. I hope you find your dad. It's like when you were talking about this, I
that's
just
so
thought about
great.
that.
That is so great.
Bye, buddy. I hope you find your dad.
No, it was the normal. It's like, bye, buddy. Hope you
Buddy, I
find
hope you
find
find
your
your dad.
dad. Thanks, Mr. Narwhal. I should
Heck
make
yeah.
that a trivia question.
Yeah, do that. Make that a trivia question. I think me and Caleb we're gonna have a matchup soon. So you
Oh.
make sure and throw that one in that one. No. What kind of animal says? Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. Normal, normal. Um,
Yeah, sorry.
no, you're good. That's a good trivia
It
question.
really is though. All right.
But I don't have any indication what it is. A good trivia question. I
Yeah.
have the worst questions.
Nah, don't worry, don't worry. All right, so yeah, but getting back on track here. So it's yeah, so that's how that would work. We haven't really touched on how the daughter would be taking. I mean, we kind of did, but it's like, what else is going on like in her life? Does she have a college boyfriend that she's serious with? Does she have a college girlfriend she's serious with? Like, what's the what's the 411 for
Right.
Marie?
Hmm.
We can come back to that if we have to. It's
No,
fine.
yeah. I'm thinking on it. I mean, hmm.
Yeah,
Obviously, like we don't want to force them and find that character naturally and
yeah,
find
of
what
course.
works for her the best. But like she could be. See, like that's kind of like what I was thinking is like she doesn't really like her dad. She's in college. Why does she go to see her dad?
Mm.
Um, which I think could be a major part.
Oh, I had a really sick and twisted thought just now. As like a, we can make this a limited series.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is so dark. I don't know why I'm laughing about it.
Because dark is funny.
What if he has cancer and he doesn't remember?
Fuck, man. That's fucked up. I'm laughing at it too, but it is fucked up. Um, uh,
And the only reason I'm thinking about it, I'm probably laughing about it, is because I remember, what was it? The Harley Quinn show that's on HBO Max right about now. And Harley
it's
shoots
so
a,
good.
yeah, Harley shoots a goon with a cancer gun.
Oh my god, I remember. No, yeah, he's like, why would you do that? That's so fucked up. No, oh my god. Okay, so if that's the case, I think it would be really
Oh,
because like think about Breaking Bad, right? Think about how long it took him to tell his family that he had cancer, right? Uh,
so I have to try and like calm myself down because I don't know why I'm still laughing about it. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. But think about how long it took him to tell his family that he had cancer, right?
Mm,
It took him a very long time. So it would be interesting to think about the fact that he hasn't told anyone. That's part of the reason why he doesn't know. Is
mm,
not only because he forgot, but because he hasn't told anyone either.
mm.
So he's already
What? Okay, so what if the
told me that
okay, so how about this then for a for a not a plot thread or twist, but for
anybody.
a okay, hang on, I'll come back. Okay, so you're back. Okay, cool. Sorry. So what about this for a plot thread for the daughter? He's the only one she is the only one he told, so that's why she keeps coming back from college to visit her dad during the summer instead of going off to like Italy with her significant other or something. She's like, no, I want to spend as much time I can with my dad. But since he doesn't remember, she has to grapple with the fact of, do I tell him or do I let him live out the rest of his days in peace? No, without with him being oblivious to it.
Oh, oh, that's messed. Oh,
I
that's hard.
I know, but it's
Yeah.
just like it's a reality of the situation because like if someone doesn't
Mhm.
know that they have this thing that's killing
Yeah.
them, and they don't remember, or I just said that. Do you want to tell them and then like have them worry about it? It's like, how long have I had this? How long do I got? And have them panic over it, or just let them sit in their blissful ignorance of what's actually killing them, and let
Yeah.
them
Ignorance is bliss.
and let them enjoy the rest of their days in peace and happiness, or as peaceful and happy as you can with cancer.
Right. Huh. That is
I'm a
a
sick
great
fuck. I
question.
just realized that. I'm a sick bastard.
Well, I don't think so. I've had yeah, I've had some.
Yeah.
So I think that would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Um, we got to make sure that we don't have too many plot threads going on here. But
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
I think that would work.
I mean,
Yeah.
the more we talk about this, though, the more I would love to see
Uh-huh.
this as not so much a series like a 10 season series, but maybe
No.
like
Yeah.
a mini series because he knows like
Right.
because one of them knows and when she knows we know that he's on borrowed time, so this
Uh-huh.
whole thing is like maybe 10 hour long episodes, and each
Yeah.
one takes place throughout maybe like a month or so, you know.
Yeah.
So
No.
because every 15 minutes could be a week or whatever, just different pieces
Right.
in time.
Right.
And then at the end of it, it's like he finally gets his memories back, his family's together, and then he remembers, oh, what
Oh
what
no.
what day is it? And then then he realizes how long he has left to live,
It's
and
like
it's
5.
I would say like 5 days at the end of this. Like the last episode, he's living out the last 5 days of his life with his family and everything, and then
Yeah.
they're with his. I'm not gonna say they're remarried, but they're definitely together again. Him and Natalie,
Right.
with Ben and Marie taking some time off from school. You know, kind of
Right.
had this nice moment for all of them to have instead of the years of anger and everything else that happened beforehand. So
And then Dunzo.
yeah, and it's like the last thing we get is like the family like going on a I forget what it's called. I think it's called parasailing, where it's like you have a parachute attached to the back of you, and then there's a speedboat, and then they just kind of like drive
Right.
you up.
Yeah.
But it's like instead of just one of
Yeah.
them, it's all of them, and they're all like
Oh.
together. And it's just like the last shot you see is them, and it freeze frames, and it just goes to
Uh-huh.
black, and then credits roll.
Perfect. Oh, that's so sad.
It's so sad, but it's a good
Uh,
ending too.
Somber, like where you, yeah, it would be a good ending. Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, yeah. The music.
Now I feel sad.
Oh.
It's like now I'm sad.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think this could actually work. It's as a good
Mm-hmm.
miniseries. This would be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the only problem
Yeah.
is
No, for
writing.
sure.
But the only problem is writing 10 hours worth of script.
Well, yeah. You just gotta write the pilot first,
Yeah,
man. Like that's like the pilot comes first, and
yeah.
then you go from there. Is if you try to, but you know it's
No,
good to know where you're going. It's just like if you try to,
write it on the
well, now I'm
fly.
gonna write. Yeah,
It's
yeah. You're just gonna,
yeah, it doesn't work.
it's gonna break him. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now here's the question: how long do we want the pilot to be? Do we want it to be an
Wait.
hour long or 2 hours long, so we can split the pilot into 2 episodes, and then when if it gets picked up, it's already filmed and whatnot.
um. I. I mean, I don't see why you go to two. I think that if you're gonna do
Yeah,
an hour. I mean, like if you're gonna do the whole series, and I don't know. I could see going to two. I just,
yeah. At that point, it's a TV movie, and no one wants that.
right, yeah, just if we can, yeah, if you can knock it out into an hour, that would be,
Yeah,
and
I mean that should be simple.
concise.
Yeah, that should be
Yeah,
simple enough.
right. Make it concise as
Yeah,
well. You know, um, and to structure it just right. You know, I don't know how we would want to do that, but I think juxtaposing his mindless, empty-brained self to his prior,
yeah,
you know, virtually evil. Because I would personally, I would open it on him waking up. Like I would open on it
really.
him waking up. Yeah. Well, but I also typically write non-linear linearly, because like I would still go back and show all that stuff.
Oh, so
I
so
would
you're the
just
type to do premium rush style movies.
I would bounce. I'd be bouncing back and forth between the two to get that juxtaposition really tight and in there of like this is what he was like before, this is what he's like after.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
type.
for me, I would like to see where he was before then. It's like, why are we rooting for this character? And then the next morning, he
Right.
wakes up, doesn't remember, and then he has like phone calls and kids and everything else. It's like, oh, this is why.
Yeah.
Because the second,
Well, and I think that's interesting. I think that's interesting to see it from two different points of views of who like of how we would write it differently.
yeah, because for me, it's like the first half hour of this thing is him just being swarmy. This like, about to make partner. This whole thing, like, oh yeah, this is nothing. It's no big deal. Whatever, pfft, we're good. And
Right.
then cut to the next day, like the top of the other half hour, he wakes up, no memory. It's like he looks around like, where the hell am I?
Right.
Who the
Well,
hell am I? Yeah,
kind of how I was thinking I would do it is I would write the teaser before Act One, before the credits and everything, as him waking up, right?
mm,
And then we go to the opening credits, and then as you go after you get through that, it's like this is like 12 hours earlier. This is where we're
oh,
at, and then we show him for that all the way up and back to the point, swipe
okay,
swipe back. So, because I would take that teaser as a moment to audience, gotcha.
yeah,
Like I have you now.
yeah,
But yeah.
oh,
Oh man, that'd be fun.
yeah, that definitely makes sense. And we can definitely get into that next time because right now I think we're coming up on probably 2 hours or so. Let's see.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, we're coming up on
Oh wow.
yeah, we're coming up on like 2 hours because right now we are.
I knew we were at an hour because this first stream ended at 56:55. So
Yeah, we're at
I
like
knew we were getting close.
yeah, we're at like 146 and almost 146 and a half about now. So why don't we hit
Oh,
the button?
perfect.
Why don't we hit the button on this? We can wrap this up for now, and then we can always come back to this a little while later. So yeah,
Awesome. Yeah. For sure.
so
For
yeah,
sure.
so
Uh,
from me here at the Ryan Cross Project, I Travis Schaefer, and on behalf of my guest, I was about to say Colin, which is not who I'm talking to.
Call. Not even close.
It started with the
It's close.
it started with a C and it had an L. Leave me alone. Calvin T. Shepard, where can good people find you online?
Well, you can find me at Calvin T. Shepard Films, and now at the Batman fan series on everything on Instagram, Facebook, and the YouTube. Yeah, definitely follow both of those. I got my own films and I also do these as well. If you go to YouTube, Calvin T. Shepard Films, you can watch my features on there. If you go to the Batman fan series, you can watch our most recent short slash promo for the upcoming series they're doing called Welcome Home, Mr. Wayne.
Nice, very, very, very well done. We will get into, and I'll actually later on down the line, for a Ryan Cross State Classified. We actually went ahead and already talked about this. I'm actually going to have Calvin and the guy he has playing Bruce Wayne sometime
Yep.
come on the episode, come on
Yep.
after we talk about and review the
He'll be
trailer.
interested. I haven't told him yet, but he'll be interested. So I hope maybe he'll see this before then. No, I'll let him know.
Yeah,
But yeah, and I also want to get Jamal on here too, because Jamal is my executive producer, and
nice.
he's the man, dude. Jamal is awesome. He he's the guy because I met him in this area, Fort Collins NoCo Film Network, ran by Jesse in this area. Check that out as well. There's a lot of films being made in this area, and they're really great films. But I met him at one of those meetings. We met some guys that had worked on the Kenobi short film. Those guys were really cool, and we got him in here. He's a big Captain America fan. Jamal is, and I showed him, like, I went through a whole bunch of fan series, and there was one that had Batman versus Captain America. And he was so mad. He's like, doesn't make sense. He's like, I don't think that should ever happen. So he's like, I don't believe in those. He doesn't believe in crossovers. So I think it would be fun to get him on here too and see on the
Yeah.
and pick at him a little bit on that end. So
Yeah.
it's fun to pick at and be like, wait, what if we threw in this character? That's not the same universe. He freaks out. So yeah, definitely if we get him on here, pick at him, pick at him, pick at him.
No, no,
So
because I think the first question I'll throw to you, kind of just I'll give you like a knowing nod. I'll just be like, okay, so when can we expect Hobgoblin to show up in this series? Because I think that's a great counter question. No, not Hobgoblin, Green
perfect.
Goblin, Green Goblin. It's like
Yeah.
when do you
Either
think?
way,
Yeah,
it would still both of them would frustrate him. So I
perfect, awesome.
think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah, so
yeah.
yeah, find around there, and we will see you guys next time when we go into the writers' room.